keeper, or hi gang. I am just here admiring the last of the blackcurrant flowers and, well, really, in most cases here, the beauty of the blossom is actually over, but it's done its job for the most part because I am starting to see tiny little blackcurrants forming. I think it's going to be a good year for fruit.
Bok, I'm Mandy O. This is Grow, Make, Cook, and welcome to my garden. I grew up in Australia in a permaculture family, but after we got married, Mr. O and I moved here to his home country of Croatia. I am a passionate and hands-on homemaker and gardener, and I love life's simple pleasures. So join me on my journey, and together we can learn to grow, make, and cook.
This is the second week in May, or Svibanj. There are also a lot of lovely, delicate flowers coming up right now in the garden. This here is my true hyacinth, or Spanish hyacinth, and they are just, I think, adorable. I love purple and blue flowers. And right here next door, I've got my sunflowers, which are coming up, and I am so excited to see them doing so well. I think they're going to be real showstoppers come summer. Another lovely job that I am finally able to really get in and start doing is the bringing out and planting my very tender vegetables. These are my zucchinis, which I grew from seed, and they are begging to come out of the pot. You can see there that the roots are always coming out the bottom and sticking to the bottom of my terracotta pots. So these guys are absolutely ready to move to a more permanent home. I'm just gently poking those roots back in so that when I tap him out, as much root as possible comes with him. Yeah, look at that. He's not really root bound, but he's getting close. This is as much root as you want to see on the outside. More than that, and he's going to start to really suffer. So these guys are going into the ground. Now, my spacing for zucchinis is quite broad. I would say 40, maybe 50 centimeters apart. And I'm planting them in a bit of a donut. So I'm pushing the earth down around them a bit more and then leaving a little ridge of soil around the outside edge like this. So that when I water, all the water will stay close to the roots and give this guy all the nutrients that he wants and he will need if he's going to make lots of lovely zucchinis. For me, zucchinis, or tikvice, are a staple of the summer garden. I adore them, and these guys, blackjack, have been really prolific for me in the past, so I consider these to be a really good, reliable variety. And now that I've given those guys a really good drink, I am left with these, which are now grubby, dirty, used pots. And this is a question I've been asked a couple of times, is how do I prepare my pots to use again? Because I have a lot of terracotta pots and I adore them. I think they're beautiful. And on top of that, they don't create any plastic. They allow me to sow seeds in small containers. I just think they're great. So in order to reuse these guys, I actually wash them in a half and half mixture of water and just regular white vinegar. Just pop them in, give them a really good scrub so that everything comes off, and it removes a lot of this built up lime because the water here is quite hard. So it'll remove the lime and clean up the pots and they come back clean and short of using bleach or something else that I don't like putting in my garden. They end up fairly hygienic. So it removes the majority of the bugs and the bacteria, so that if there is something living in the soil from my squashes, I'm not going to transfer it to whatever I put in this pot next. The next thing that I'm putting into this bed, it's not the last, but it is the last thing I think for today to go into this bed, are my little baby eggplants, which I am really excited about. I have never grown an eggplant before, and this is a bit of an adventure. Now, I have been told that these guys like quite rich soil. So this garden bed that I dug over that had the violets in it before, and I've put lots of compost in, feels like a good spot for them. Now, I do like companion planting, so this is kind of an amendment to that. Because I don't know eggplant very well as a plant, what I'm doing here is just thinking about the type of soil requirements that these guys have. And so if you're growing herbs or something, you can often match them up to grow together by the type of soil that the plant requires. So say, for example, if you want to grow hard Mediterranean herbs, thyme, rosemary, things like that, you could put those guys in the same soil because they all like really good free draining soil. And the same works with my vegetables here. So because the eggplants like really rich nutritious soil, and so do the zucchinis, I'm thinking, or at least I'm hoping, that putting them together will work. So, right here in my lovely new truck, I have a whole lot of really, really sorry, sad looking plants. They're my red cabbages, which have not gone out and been planted. Not for you to eat, no, ne. So I have my red cabbages here, which are all a little bit wilty. I have my curly kale, which is way too grown over for what it is, and I've got my butternuts, and these have all been left in their pods, pots, whatever, much too long. All of these guys needed planting out at least a week ago, probably more like 2. So, one of the last jobs I'm trying to get in this weekend before the rain really hits hard, which it's just starting to sprinkle, so want to get this done quickly, is to just start planting out some of my very sorry looking vegetables. The ones that I was planning to put down here into the cottage garden. It's just a matter now of just rushing to get everything in its place before they all die on me. Down here, where I'm putting in a butternut squash, I am adding a whole lot of compost to the planting hole. These guys are hungry, and this spot down here is not perfect. It's got a little bit of shade from this baby plum, and a little bit of shade in that direction from the bigger trees that are kind of further off. So this gets shaded probably about half the day. Which is suboptimal. Squashes like quite a lot of sunshine, but this is one of the few places down here in the cottage garden that actually has enough room, enough space for these guys to spread out. And if there is one thing a butternut squash likes, it's a lot of room to move. I think that's probably about all we've got time for today. So, if you like what we're doing, please like the video. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you want notifications, use the bell icon below. And until next time then, do widzenia.